Greetings everyone, welcome to this advance. This game was played in European Club Cup with the black pieces. We have the magician Divya Deshmukh facing off against Adela Velikic, and this is going to be a really epic game, and Divya has already crossed the threshold of 2500, and that too she did in style. She first won the 2 points that was required and then won the remaining games, and then she was able to get like above 2505, and now she's facing off against a WIM. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Here in this position with the white pieces, here c4 was played by Adela. Now just comes c6, d4, and just d5. We have knight to f3, knight to f6, and just e3, and here just bishop to f5. This is the Slav defense. This is the modern variation, and we have c captures, queen to b3, but now just comes queen to c7, bishop to d2 now, and just e6. And here you could go for a move like bishop to b5 check. That's the main line. That's how you play this. And after knight to c6, you just play castles, and here after bishop to e7, just playing this bishop to b4. And after this castles, now you play bishop captures, knight to c3, and your position is absolutely fine. Pieces are developed somewhere along the line. You could play h6, you can play this rook f to c8, rook a to b8 is also fine. There are a lot of moves you can play in this position. But after e6, here knight to e5 was played, immediately taking up space, and we have this knight to c6, and now just queen to a4. But queen to a4, you can see a move that Engine does not like in this position, and here just going for this bishop to d6, and here now just comes this knight to c3, bishop caps on e5, first trading up, and here in this position Engine loves that move. Here knight to b5 was played first, attacking the queen, but queen to b6, and d caps on e5. We have knight to e4, and now what do you do in this position? Here queen to a3 was played first, but the thing is that that's not a good move, and you can immediately take advantage of this position right from the opening by going for a move like knight caps on d2. Yes, you can do that, because yes, this is coming and I can see that, but the thing is that after king to d7, you don't have any good follow-up. If you go for this king caps on d2, now then comes this knight caps on e5, and after knight caps on f5, e caps on f5, and after this bishop to e2, you play this king to e6, and yes, king is really safe here on e6. You don't have to worry about it much. Rook h to c1, now you play rook h to c8, and black is doing perfectly fine. Even is better, and somewhere along the line, even this is going to be a threat, so you have to be a little bit careful. You're going to have to just give up the bishop, but my knight is much stronger than that bishop. I don't care about that bishop. I would rather not trade it. So definitely it's going to be a really nice, amazing game for Divya, and she could really win from here and convert this. But after queen to a3, here rook to d8 was played by Divya, just not allowing all of that knight jumps. It just gets annoying. But knight to d6 nonetheless, and hey, that's not a good move. Engine doesn't like it, and Divya goes for knight caps on d6. We have e captures and castles, because the thing is that you can put some pressure on that pawn. I mean, really, afterwards as well, you don't have to worry. And now bishop to e2, just developing the piece, because now you want to castle. Rook to d7, and now just comes g4, but g4 is an aggressive try. Is it a too aggressive try? Well, we're gonna have to see. Here just comes bishop to e4 now, but just comes f3, bishop to g6, and h4. So pushing all those pawns, but still you can see that Engine is only favoring Divya in this position, because the thing is that now you have a brilliant move, and it's a move that Divya plays very much often and she excels in, and also has been called Divya's move, and she goes for h5 in this position. And now we have g captures, bishop captures, and here rook to g1, and Divya's position is slowly increasing, and the position could completely collapse in on itself. Here just going for f6. Now Divya finding all the best Engine moves, and here king to f2. Now just comes rook f to d8. We have d4 even, but the thing is that this is not going to help you, because you could go for a move like d4 in this position and just completely bust open the position. And here after b5, now you just go for this d caps on e3, switch and so again. After bishop captures, you play knight to d4, rook a to c1, even e5, just strengthening that knight on the center of the board. I don't think you would want to allow queen captures in this position, because there's too much trouble that's going to be happening, and your king is a bit too weak. And after queen to b4, your position just is not that good, and I think Divya could really convert from here. But after b4, here knight to e5 was played, and now just comes this b5 even, but here rook to c8, bishop to a5, attacking the queen, but just comes this queen captures on d6, finally grabbing that pawn and also asking for a trade. But the trades will only favor Divya in this position here. Queen captures was played, rook captures, and now just going for, you could have gone for a move like rook to c1 right after here and challenged that rook's authority over the c5, but here just f4 was played. And f4 is not at all a good move, and you can see the engine shift completely. But for you to understand why f4 is not a good move, I know you can see the move, but still pause the video and try and find out the only winning move in this position for Divya, and which gives you a really amazing rating advantage and rating boost before the FIDE World Cup. Have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is rook to c2, and the trouble is now you're in a load of trouble. And here f captures on e5 was played. Now this comes to rook captures on e2, and here king to f1 we have f captures on e5. So Divya just wins a pawn, clean pawn, and there is nothing in this position here you can do. Rook to g5 was played, now attacking that bishop, but just bishop to f3, and now you don't have to worry. Bishop to c7 was played, attacking that. Rook to d7 and bishop caps on e5, but the thing is that your position is causing much more trouble than that troubled extra piece that was there, double piece that was there on e5. And now Divya, in that spirit to cause trouble, here goes for rook to f7, just putting the king, just putting this rook against the king. And now if you don't move it, there's going to be some discoveries, but here just moving it. But now just comes this rook captures on e3, and now just rook to c1, rook to e4 now, and here just going for h5, trying to stir up some trouble. But the thing is that a move like king to h7 just completely shatters all your ideas. Rook to c8, you play rook to e1 check, king to f2, rook to e2 check, king to f1, bishop to g4 check, a very nice discovery from the rook. And after king to g1, you play bishop to h3, rook to c1, now just going for king to h6, and your position is absolutely fine. You're going to have to move the rook wherever you move. I mean, my rooks are absolutely amazing. I can even double up somewhere along the line, and my position is looking spectacularly well. It's a plus 5.2 advantage. I mean, that's just completely over. But after h5, here rook to h4 was played, and now just comes this rook to c8 check, king to h7, and here rook to a8. Now just comes this, I mean, those pawns are under attack, but Divya don't care about pawns right now. She cares and, you know, is trying to obliterate your king, so she goes for this rook to h1 check, a king to f2, but just first bishop caps on h5, just grabbing a pawn while giving a check. And here goes going for king to e3, but just b6 comes, and now just bishop to b8, but bishop to b8 is not at all a good move, because now just comes rook to e1 check, king to d2, rook to d1 check, king to c3, rook to f3 check, and here just going for king to b2, but just rook to f2 check was played, trying to just lure the king into a trap mating net basically. And after king to c3, here if you go for this d4 check in this position, you're, I mean, just completely winning. Also, there are many other winning moves in this position. King to b4, after this you play this bishop to e2, rook to g3, rook to b1 check, rook to b3, after rook captures, king captures, you just go rook to f8. And the thing is that you cannot go for a move like bishop to c3 directly, because there will be chances of playing this bishop to g3, and you don't want that to happen by give your opponent a counterplay. You can just go for this, and here is where you resign. There is nothing you can do. You cannot set up that let go of that pin. There is no defense in this position. Bishop to c3 is, bishop to f3 is coming, and yeah, you can just resign. But after king to c3, here bishop to g6 was played. Now just comes this rook to g3, but here just rook to c2 check. We have king to b3, rook to c8 now, and yeah, you're gonna lose one of those pawns, one of those pieces here somewhere along the line. Here rook to h3 check was played, but now just comes king to g8, rook to g3, and here just going for rook to d3 check, asking for a trade. Rook captures, bishop captures was played. Now just comes a4, but here just d4 was played, and was on this move, on just move 50, that here Adela Velikic resigned the game, and Divya got this spectacular victory in 50 moves against WIM Adela Velikic. I mean, this just shows properly how much Divya's play has matured over the years, because yes, I mean, Adela Velikic is learning, and Adela is definitely on the right track. She played some of really good moves, and she made a few errors, but the thing is that she's in WIM, she's 22-62, and she's roughly 250 points rated lower than Divya, but she still played a spectacular game, holding an opponent like Divya, 2500 rated, playing against super GMs, crushing super GMs in the form that she is in. I mean, that's tremendously amazing, and to be able to hold her to 50 moves still is a really good deal. So kudos to her, and again, a huge congratulations to Divya from crossing the 2500 mark. And not only that, now she's actually rated 2506 or maybe 2508. I'm gonna have to check, but her rating continues to rise, and I hope that it just continues to rise like that. She's just right now in Super GM Club, and we are just not even gonna know when she just hops on to the next level. And she's just right now showing impeccable results and impeccable games, and really I cannot emphasize on it enough. This is definitely a world chess champion in the making. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you very, very much for watching.